Hello and welcome to all Go players. This is SensAI Go, and today we're going to talk about the early 3-3 invasion. If 3-3 invasions make you angry, or make you feel robbed, or make you feel confused, then this is the video for you. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let me set you free. I've wanted to make this video for a long time because even 10 years into the AI era, I still keep seeing comments online that refer to the 3-3 in this way. That it's kind of a cheesy move, that white is getting robbed. Even people saying that they don't want to play the 4-4 anymore. I mean, imagine Go players that are afraid to play the 4-4, which you could arguably say is the best move of the game. Why do you think we play it in the first place? So, yeah, I really can't accept this narrative. And I want to channel my inner Kageyama from the fundamentals of Go. I want to say, these players need to be grabbed by their necks and knocked some sense into them. This is what I'm trying to do in this video. We're first going to talk about some fundamental concepts, and then I'm going to show you lots of examples from programs, and we're going to see what the 3-3 is really about, what Hoshi is really about, and how to use it in the context of modern Go. What I often see online when it comes to this kind of topic is that we get this idea that black is just doing whatever the hell they want and we don't get anything out of it. Black makes this invasion and white thinks, hey, okay, I got my other white stone here in the lower left, right? So I should block this side, right? Because I want to build. Then like this. Okay, we need to extend again because it's a correct shape, and bam. Black takes the other corner. Okay, let's just repeat this variation just for simplicity. And then bam, black plays right in the middle. And we feel like we haven't got anything. Because black got two corners, so solid points. And black is also reducing our influence, right? The whole idea was that we can build something in this area as a compensation, right, for what black gained in the corner. But with this move, suddenly it seems impossible to do this. Plus, black has two more corners that are really hard to take away. So how is this any good for white? What can we think about this situation? I want to go back a bit and start from the beginning, about what is the 4-4 and how it can be used. So maybe this moment is the most important one in the video. You remember this position from the beginning, right? Black makes invasion at move 5, and white maybe feels like shit. They're taking away my corner again. Please remember this position and have a look at the following opening. What do you feel now? Isn't it great? Isn't this amazing for white? Black just completely played away from our shoulder hit. This is the exact same position I showed you before. We have these two stones. They're clearly in a kind of tension, right? let me tell you that over the years, I've analyzed many games with Katago. And Katago never wants to play away from this situation. Yeah, Katago always wants to play the next move here. It doesn't matter if it's white's turn or if it's black's turn. Yeah, to follow up here is immensely big. It is so, so huge. Basically, the only reason not to play there would be an empty corner, which is still considered a little bit bigger. Okay, but I haven't seen any other situation where AI wants to play away from this shape. Yeah, so this is extremely good that we get the first move here. And the great thing is we can even choose. Yeah, we can play A or B. We're completely free to establish the direction of the game. We have the initiative here. Okay, this is one very important point. We get the initiative. Yeah? And this initiative is very important, and it also relates to how we follow this up. So remember, I showed you this variation before. Yeah. So this is a variation that is just one variation. Okay, but what is the important feature of this variation is that black gets center. Yeah? So if we choose to play this variation as white, we give back the initiative to black. Okay? And the most important learning is we don't have to do that. Yeah? We can keep the initiative. There are many variations here that we can choose that will let us keep the initiative. Yeah? So basically, if you play this Hane as white, you're giving up the initiative. Yeah. If you extend, you will have to keep extending. Yeah. If you try to make a shortcut and black gets this Hane, this is very huge. Yeah. This is good for black. There's no way around it. Yeah. That's why it's so fundamental to keep extending in this pushing battle. Yeah. To keep the advantage and power and influence. Yeah. So what AI actually recommends is when you Hane, you should double Hane, which will lead to this Joseki. Yeah, maybe black will extend, but it's fine. So this is another variation where white played the Hane and then the double Hane. And we see in this variation, white gets to keep the corner and black gets a Punuki. And black also gets the initiative. It can be a good variation in the right context, but just be aware, if you play this Hane, you're going to give up the initiative. Yeah. If you want to keep it, there are many variations. The most simple one, I'm not going to go into all of it. Yeah, the most simple one is just extend. Okay. This is a very simple Joseki that is played a lot, and we see it ends with white taking center. If you want to handle this invasion, you need to learn the different variations, yeah, the different options, and you need to learn which of these give you center and which don't. There are many more variations. You know, this is another example where you can also play away if you want. Yeah. So just to recap, you get the initiative. You can choose the direction. Yeah. Everything I showed can also go into the other direction. Just an example. Yeah. Or if you decide, okay, I want to take the corner, but I prefer to give the Punuki on the other side, then you can do that. Yeah? So you get the initiative. You can choose the direction to play. Yeah. So this is all very good. You know, you don't need to feel bad about being invaded at 3-3. And the last big point I want to make is this misconception. So let us go back to one of these simple variations. Okay, so the common misconception I find in these kinds of comments about the 3-3, yeah, is that we feel that black has taken the territory. Okay, so what we now need to do is make a comparable amount of territory with our wall, right? Or let's say even play here and build a territory with a moyo, right? To offset this. I want you to get it out of your head that the only thing you can do after an invasion is make a moyo and make points on the side. This is simply not true. To play like this, to play this kind of game, yeah, it's certainly possible. Yeah, it's one of the options. I won't say that this A move is bad. Yeah, definitely not. So, but just don't get constricted by this. Yeah? Don't get constrained by this. This is not the only way to profit off of a 4-4. This wall, this supposed wall, yeah, let me say wall in quotation marks. Yeah, we can consider it a wall to build off of from, but we can also just consider it a group that is very hard to kill and that gives you influence. And what is the one proverb we all learned when we started to play the game? Is don't use influence to make territory. Yeah. If you just consider this a wall and think, okay, I need to make my territory with this wall, then you are completely ignoring this proverb. We don't want to use our influence to surround territory. Let's come back to the beginning position. What I want you to consider is that the 3-3 invasion is the same as black playing away from your shoulder hit. If there is a 3-3 invasion, the 4-4 becomes a reduction. Yeah? Stop thinking of it as a wall. Think of it as a reduction. You know, we are limiting black's potential territory, right? We're limiting black from expanding. And what's more, it's an unanswered reduction. Yeah, so we can follow up immediately and very powerfully. Yeah, so please, if you get 3-3 invaded, think of the 4-4 like a reduction. Yeah, not as a tool to make points. Yeah, you can make points somewhere else. And also, what you're forgetting is as white, you already have points at the start of the game. Yeah, you already have 6.5 points, or 7.5 even, depending on the row set. Yeah, so you already have like a small little corner somewhere, you know, not visible on the board, but you already got something. Black doesn't have anything in the beginning. Yeah, so don't become so nervous. You know, you're ahead on points when you start. So you remember, we can get approached like this also. And sometimes we play away, right? Because we think something else is more important. Okay, in this case, black usually double approaches. Yeah, and usually we just take care to not get surrounded. You know? To just stay in the middle, separate black, and just don't get surrounded. Yeah. So in this case, it's pretty easy to see that the 4-4 and the related moves are not making points. You know, there's no points for white here. There might be a few points in the future, but I don't see any points. Yeah. But also, yeah, we got an extra move somewhere else. Yeah. Which will give us points, or which will take points away from our opponent. I want you to think of it more like this, yeah, that the 4-4 is actually a reduction when you get invaded by 3-3. So let me summarize the 3 main points again. Yeah, when you get 3-3 invaded, first, the opponent is giving you the initiative. Yeah. Keep that in mind. Try to keep the initiative and try to use it to your advantage. Second, the opponent is giving you the choice of direction. Yeah, this is amazing. You can choose how the game should progress. And third, I want you to internalize this mind shift. Yeah, this mind shift away from I need to make points with my moyo or whatever. Yeah, and I want you to shift more towards, okay, I just reduced my opponent in center. What do I want to do next? Yeah. For example, just play away. Yeah, you can leave it. There are many big moves to be played in the opening. Yeah, you don't have to, you don't have to stick to one place. Yeah, to try to force a moyo out of it. Yeah? Because one of the other proverbs we learned is first corners, then sides, and then center. Yeah? When we play this kind of move to try to make a moyo, we're ignoring the corners. You see, there are 2, 3, 4 points, which are arguably bigger to play, to follow up on. Please don't obsess about this group having to build a moyo or something. Okay, you can just leave it. It's a very nice, strong group. I mean, how many moves does it take to surround this group? Let's maybe do an estimate. So, yeah, we just played away. I think definitely black needs move somewhere around here. Something like this. Okay. Let's play another move. Yeah. We probably need this one in order to surround white. We probably... I don't think we can keep white in with just one more move. Yeah, there's too much space here. So let's say we need... Let's say we need 2 more moves for this white to completely die. And even here, there's still some argy, I would say. Yeah. So maybe now it's dead. You see how many moves black had to play. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra moves. Yeah, well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves somewhere else. So what is bigger? What do you think? Honestly, I'm not sure about this exact situation, but that's how I want you to think. Just because we put some stones here does not mean we need to use them to surround territory. I want you to keep these 3 things in mind. And now we're going to switch to look at some professional games to see some actual examples from Modern Go. Let's have a look at our first example. These are all from recent professional games. And yeah, I basically just looked for games where early 3-3 invasions were played and tried to check out what was happening. So we have multiple 4-4 points here. And we got the first invasion. Let's see what white does here. Okay, white blocks to this side, extends, very simple. Yeah, we see a very simple Joseki here. White approaches, black answers. And let's see, where would you play? If we think, okay, we have to make a moyo here, then maybe we think about playing at A or B, right? To build something. But guess where white played? White played here. Yeah. This is clearly not a move to build a moyo, right? Because it can be very easily reduced, right? Something like this. And I don't know, maybe black might even try to separate this and attack the 3 stones. Yeah. So clearly not a move for building. So what's wrong with a move like this? I won't say it's not playable or anything. Yeah, so I guess either of these moves is playable. It probably will not lose a lot of percentage points or anything, right? I just want to notice that this is a side move. It's not a corner move. So it's by definition a little bit less valuable. And the problem is a little bit that even though we played this kind of middle move to connect our stones, the stones are not connected. You know, they're too far apart. Yeah, we have, you know, we have maybe invasion point here, maybe here, maybe here. All kinds of invasions and attachments to split this apart. Yeah. So this white move in the middle is trying to do 2 things at the same time, but it's not accomplishing either one especially well. That's just the problem with it. Yeah. If we instead just make the normal 2-space extension, then we have secured this group basically, right? Because now there's no way that black can split this apart, and this is just a safe group now. Of course, black can maybe put a little bit of pressure on it, but this is a safe group. Yeah, this is different to the other situation. Okay, this was a very small, simple example. I just wanted you to see that in this case, a professional prioritized just making one side safe instead of trying to accomplish too much with one move. Next example, this is a funny one. As you can see, we have 4 for 4 points, and I think you can guess what's coming. We have the first 3-3. Yeah? And we're going to look, there will be multiple 3-3s in this one, and we're just going to check how, like on a high level, okay, how are players using their walls, right? So, first one. White blocks here. And yeah, now's the question. Will white try to build a wall to get this area? Let's see. No. White decides to double hane and take the corner. Honestly, this is not very common. I haven't seen this a lot, but I don't know. Maybe times are changing. So in this case, white did not take the initiative. No? So I guess white wants to take an early lead in territory in this game. Here we have a normal approach. Okay, okay. Black makes extension. And now white takes the next 3-3. So what will black do? So black blocks here and plays this one. This is another variation to take center. White bumps and harness. So what now? Yeah. Let's come back to the narrative. So is black trying to make a moyo here or make points here? We're going to see it. No, black does not. Black harness and then cuts. Yeah, black is giving white the choice for the direction. And white decides on the top Yeah, we've seen this kind of joseki. And then white plays here. So in the end, we asked, will black try to make points here? No, black completely gave it up. Yeah. On the contrary, white is making points on the top now. Yeah. But what we get in exchange is another area of influence. Yeah. But to another, more open side of the board where the potential is higher. Okay. Let's continue. We get some more moves on this side. White makes some forcing exchanges and bam, next 3-3. Black blocks, extends. Yeah, we get this very simple joseki again. So where should black play? A. Or maybe A is too close. Maybe B, something like that. You know, to get the points, to connect, to make it a territory. No. Yeah. Black is really trying to maximize the potential. You know, we're not just trying to take some points. We're trying to make it big, to invite the opponent to come in. Yeah? And then profit off of the attack. We're not trying to directly surround the points, but we will get our points in another way. So let's see a little bit more what happened. So we got some exchanges on the top. Now white is coming in. This is a ladder breaker. So black actually answers here. And let's see what happens. White cuts off. Yeah. And we can see black completely ignores this group. And instead plays all these kinds of moves, right? So we don't make points with this group directly. Yeah, but it's a strong group anyway. We can play away. We got these moves on the lower side in return, yeah, which completely remove any potential of a white moyo here, right? Or further white points. And only now, after white adds this move, now black defends. Yeah, with this move, white extends, and then black connects, and black is fine. Why doesn't white play here? I think the answer to that is black will just play like this. And if white answers in the corner, then we can just connect. And if white tries to separate black, then the white group in the corner will probably die. This kind of shape, this group, is really quite strong. You know, you don't really need to worry too much about it or give it too much support or anything. Let's have a look at another game. I found this one to be especially instructive. So we have a pretty normal opening with a mixture of 3-4 and 4-4 points, and we got the 3-3 invasion immediately. So where do we block? Big question. Do we build on the left? Huh? No. Play on the other side. And now white is trying to take center. But it doesn't work. White wants to avoid the complications, yeah? That's why white played this way. But that means black gets the initiative in this case. So black makes another approach. Kicks and jumps. And now black plays away to make a corner enclosure. So where do we play? Right? We have a wall, our wall. And black has a corner enclosure. They are facing each other. So it's obvious, right? We need to take the middle point. That's what we learned. Let's see what actually happens. White plays here. To put pressure on the two black stones, because black didn't make an extension. So these two stones are a bit weak now. So this is what is more urgent in this case. At least according to this professional player's opinion. So black is trying to run out. White pushes a bit. Okay, so white will not continue here. Now is certainly the time to play here, right? After we got these exchanges. No, white invades. Yeah, we see black blocks, extends. We have this very simple Joseki again. And only now black plays this middle point. Now white is continuing a little bit with the attack. And black plays on this side. Yeah. So we see here actually black is using his wall to create kind of a moyo. And using this stone to kind of reduce white at the same time, right? So what does white do? Okay, first exchange here. And then shoulder hit. Yeah? Reducing. Not building, reducing. Yeah? White already has, I mean, white has komi. White has one corner and a second corner. The second one is actually pretty big. And white can expect to get some more points, right, in the center. It seems that white feels that this is enough. So shoulder hit. Black pushes up 2 times, then connects with the corner. White turns and see push, 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 push. Yeah. So again, let's focus on the 4-4 point. Yeah, this was our 4-4 point. How did we use it in this game? Did we use it to make points? No. We used it to push our opponent against. Because this group, the 4-4, yeah, or also this group, yeah, these are strong groups. Okay, it might not look like it. It might just look like a small stick. Yeah, maybe strong is a bit exaggerated because, of course, a group is only really strong once it's alive. But yeah, we don't need to worry so much about this. Yeah? And we don't need to make points with this. Yeah, we can use it in other ways to get points elsewhere on the board. Okay, let's look at another game. We have multiple 4-4 points again. This time it looks a bit different. But here's the first invasion. Let's see what white does. Block left or the bottom? It looks like if we block on the left, we can build more, right? But no, white doesn't do it. White doesn't really want to build more on the left. Yeah, white is just taking center. And where do we play now? Do we play in the middle or something? Try to get territory here? No. White plays here. Of course, this might at some point lead, you know, if we play one more move or 2 more moves, then this can indeed become territory. But for now, this is not a move that is connecting the 2 white groups. It goes a little bit into that direction, but it doesn't really connect. It's more focused on helping this, you know? So oftentimes it's better to take a side, yeah, than trying to do too much with one move. Again. So black cuts here. threatens to go in. Okay. White plays shoulder hit. Black pushes. And do we maybe jump here? You know, to extend our potential territory here? No. White tenukis. No. What does black? Black also tenukis, the next 3-3. So we have the same problem again, where to block. So now white blocks in this direction. And again, wants to take center. Yeah. And we again we see as a follow-up, this is not like, you know, a weird kind of middle move or something. It's a really specific, concrete move that helps this shape and helps this group and makes it better, right? So push again, and now it's black's chance and black's attacks on the top. Yeah, so black is trying to start some trouble, but of course white has a lot of influence, right? Hane, tiger mouth. And then white saves. So now black peeps here, and let's see what white does. Yeah, white pushes and cuts. This is a bit of a weird variation. I don't know if I would find this in my game. So, yeah, atari, extend. So in this case, white even sacrificed this group in order to cut off this group. Yeah, very interesting tactic. So you see that both in the upper left and in the lower left, white had the 4-4, got invaded, and in neither of the two cases, white was concerned with building. Yeah? So here, white was not concerned with making points here, yeah? Since white played away from the N2 move. And also here, in the top left, white was also not concerned with building. Yeah? White used the 4-4 to attack, to cut, you know, to weaken the opponent. To be fair, in this game, this group died, the black group died, but white lost anyway. Of course, your plans won't always work, right? But yeah, that's a way to use the 4-4. You know, don't use it to build. Use it to take the initiative, to play away, to attack, all these kinds of nice things. So we got the next game here. Let's have a look. So again, we have multiple 4-4s. Let's see what happens. So first, black invades. This time, white is blocking on that side. And black this time plays the one-space jump, which is dependent on the ladder. But yeah, we might think that now white tries to build here, right? If we consider the old paradigm, let's say. But let's see what happens. Hane. Black ignores and pushes. And what does white do? Oh, Tenuki. Yeah, Tenuki. Just leaving this alone. Let's see a bit more. Okay, pincer. Just take the 3-3. Okay, all pretty normal. Let's see what black does, because white played away. Oh, black jumps. To make a moyo, right? It seems pretty clear. Let's see what white does. Oh, Tenuki. Just keep ignoring this group. Let's see what black does. Hane, makes sense. Take points in the corner and put pressure on white. Push once, make the tiger mouth shape. Yeah, this is a center exchange. Leaving some RT for later. And save. Very simple. So you see, we played away 2 times. We got this move, and we got this move. Yeah, don't forget this. Let's watch a bit more. Black puts even more pressure. Yeah. What's white doing? Oh, extend. This looks annoying for black, right? Let's see what happens. Block, go down, connect, turn. Black is trying to keep the connection. And white just gets safe on the top. So the black territory on the top disappeared. Yeah. Black plays another move. To threaten the group on the left, right? So, and white ignores again. Yeah, gets these center exchanges and then jump. Okay, we get some more exchanges here. Push, push, push. Black turns. White still goes somewhere else. Okay, okay. And only now black adds another move to threaten the white group. And white just lives. Yeah. It's all fine. You know, nothing happened. But let's go back for a moment. Did you count how many times white played away from this group? From our 4-4 stone, basically, or 4-4 group. Okay, so what did we get? Basically, we played away multiple times, right? We played away here, right? The first time when we approached black. Then we played away here to take a big corner. Then we played away here. Yeah, these are all tenukis from this group on the upper left, right? Black played a lot of moves to try to get us to answer. Yeah, but we basically got these 4 moves. And our group still survived. Yeah. And in turn, we got a big corner here, and we completely destroyed black's territory on the top. One way to profit from the 4-4 after a 3-3 invasion is just tenuki. Just tenuki. We can leave it, we can survive, it's a strong group, we can make good shape, and we might even sacrifice it. Yeah? But we don't need to build with it. Let's add another example game that illustrates this concept. So yeah, this time we only have one 4-4 point. We start a little bit differently, but now black invades. Okay, and now let's see how white handles this. So white blocks and tries to take center. Okay, so what now? Yeah. Do we play A, B, something like this? White plays the corner first, because corner is bigger than sides, right? Now, oh, black is attacking our group. Yeah, maybe we need to make a base now or jump out or something. No. We push black against our group. Okay. And we prefer to make points in the corner than on the side. So what happens? Black extends. This increases the pressure on white. This time white answers because, I don't know, like something like this is kind of threatening, and it also creates a lot of potential for territory, right? So this time white needs to answer. Okay, black takes away any possibilities for making a base here. What does white do? Oh, Tenuki. Okay, we got some exchanges here. Shoulder hit. Now we play on top. And white adds a move here. So now, black is trying to threaten. White answers here. Black plays another knight's move. And Tenuki. How many times did we play away now? We played away here. We played away here. We played away with this one, which eventually led us to, you know, close this off. So, but I'm only going to count 1 and 4. Yeah. So we played away 4 times from our group. Yeah, and you can see what I mentioned earlier. This is a the A group, or let's say the Hoshi group. Yeah, this is a reduction. Yeah, we can just, if we just survive, it's fine. You know, we can get our points somewhere else. Yeah, we see how this continues. Now black is really, you know, trying to put more pressure. And let's see how white deals with it. Oh, that looks like a shape point. That looks like center. And oops. This looks alive. Doesn't it? Yeah, and black plays away. So you see, even though we played away 4 times, yeah, we still have no trouble surviving here. Yeah, this was a super easy sequence that anybody can find. And now we have one eye here. And I mean, not 100%, but we can easily imagine that white gets another eye, right? Like here, somewhere in this area. So yeah, it's all good. We can play away from this. This was the last example I had for today. I hope this little video helped you a bit with your relationship with the 3-3. So I want to reiterate the points. First, take the initiative. Yeah. Learn the different variations of the 3-3. Yeah. Focus on the simple variations, okay, and how you can avoid complications first. But even playing simple variations, you can take center. Secondly, just appreciate and enjoy the flexibility that the 4-4 point gives you, okay? Because it can be used in so many different ways, not just to make a wall, okay? Which brings us to our third point. Please remember this. The 4-4 point, yeah, especially if we get invaded, the 4-4 point becomes a reduction. Yeah, a reduction that was not answered. Okay, so just follow it up, press your opponent down, and then Tenuki. Okay, tenuki. Don't try to build a moyo. Don't try to take points with your wall. Okay, just tenuki and play the biggest move you can find. I promise you will be fine. Don't worry about your wall. The wall. Just tenuki. Just try it out. Okay, just experiment with it. Tenuki a few times. Like we've seen before, it's very hard for this group to be killed or to be done anything, because there's just many ways to get a good shape. For example, from a 3-stone wall. So don't consider the wall for having to build a moyo. No, just leave it there. Tenuki, do something else. And then whenever you think it's necessary, you can come back to it. Or you can sacrifice it. We've also seen an example of that. So just don't get boxed in by these preconceived notions of what the 4-4 is for. It's not just to build a wall to make a moyo. It can be so much more. It can be just a strong group that you can leave alone, tenuki, and get your points somewhere else. Okay. Well, I hope this helped you. If you have some anxiety about the 3-3 point, I hope this can reduce it a little bit and enable you to explore more Go, play more Go, experiment with different strategies. And yeah, just express your creativity and enjoy this beautiful game we love. Many thanks for watching, and I wish you a good day. Bye-bye.